Welcome to the Low Ceiling. It's me, Pri, and this is my pod. Today, me and myself, and also perhaps Irene. Hey.
Hey. Yeah, okay. My OneNote has sunk.
Gross.
Well, that's how it works. That's how technology works these days.
We don't speak filth on this pod, babe.
What did I say?
There's
that was
no
filthy?
sunking on this.
Jizz.
Yeah, all right. Dad's gonna text later and be like, your kids sure are saying the J word a lot.
These kids sure say J word all the time.
Sorry, Dad. Oh, man.
Gen Zs are always saying the J word. It's their favorite word. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I'm woefully not prepared. I am prepared, but not that prepared mentally. In my mind.
Take a moment.
I'm
you know
not
what?
prepared.
We'll do it.
Can I ask a question? Is Wolverine?
Oh, we're starting.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
The character Wolverine.
Yeah.
Logan.
Uh-huh.
Is he the most famous fictional Canadian ever?
I don't believe Ryan Reynolds is a real person, so he might be.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
He might be the fictional
Wayne
Canadian.
Gretzky was fictional. He
There
did
you
not
are.
actually exist.
Terry Fox, no, he's very real.
Gandalf.
Rip.
He was a fictional Canadian.
Really?
Yeah, canon. That's Lord of the Rings canon.
You freaking
Gandalf
got
was
me.
Canadian.
Damn.
Do you think he
man.
is? He must-
Wolverine just a Canadian icon?
Well, yeah, because he is, right?
Because he is.
He goes back to Canada too when
Yep.
he's done fighting in every American war. I
know.
He's like, I think I'll go back to Canada.
He's zip zap zooming through the Northwestern Territories. So
Well, that's where he starts, and then he's like, I'm gonna go fight in just the American wars.
Yeah.
Conveniently for a film-going audience.
True.
And yeah, I have a question about that actually.
Go on.
Why was he so like, all I'm gonna do for 150 years
Yeah.
is fight war, is do war?
Because he's good at it. Because he's unkillable.
Oh yeah, that's why he's good at it. But no,
because I mean, he's the ultimate soldier,
he's
isn't
the
he?
perfect soldier.
Yeah.
He can't be killed. Oh yeah, is that why he's good at it? Oh yeah. Oh, is that really why he's so talented?
Undermining this man
Sorry,
who can never die.
I do have to turn myself down.
This man who can never die. We always just go, oh yeah, oh you have a hard time going to bed.
Is it a problem that soldiers die? Oh.
Oh, when you have dreams, do you dream about death?
Oh, I'm sorry, America. Did you too many soldiers die in Vietnam?
Oh, is COVID not a problem for you? Oh, touchy subject.
Yeah, because it's 2020 right now.
He's around. He's still not dead. Hopefully there's a new Logan in the works. Who knows?
Oh, I mean, no, there's one coming out. That's why we're doing this.
That'll do
There's
it.
a Logan in happening. There's
the Loganing.
There's a semi-Logan.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got a semi-Logan right now.
Because if you're still listening to this, which I mean, why? This is the Low Ceiling, and today we're doing X-Men Origins Wolverine.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Hell yeah.
Not Ava DuVernay's Origin.
No.
No. Which is, I know, a similar film. But,
no one dies in that.
Yeah.
Well.
But Ava DuVernay's film is dumb and full of explosions, and this one is
you're
very
a serious cinema
thoughtful.
person? Oh yeah, your name is Ava?
Oh, Ava, oh, cast, is that what you mean? Oh, is that the problem?
She doesn't even have sharp fists. Bye. I only talk about people who have sharpest of fists. I feel like my brain.
Just quiet.
Okay.
This is the Low Ceiling. I'm John.
And I'm Pri.
X-Men Origins Wolverine is what we're talking about.
That's right.
Gavin Hood film.
Who is he?
Gavin Hood. Okay, so I read one review of this movie.
Yeah.
Roger Ebert's. He did not like this film, which is not surprising.
Classic.
What he did say by way of compliment was that it's a well-made film because Gavin Hood is a good director. He directed a movie called I think it's Tsotsi, which was a South African movie.
Oh, okay.
Looked really cool. Never seen it, but it was nominated for an Academy Award, I think. And then he also directed a film that Roger Ebert was very positive on called Rendition, which is a Jake Gyllenhaal film, which I never saw either.
Oh, wow.
I remember when that came out because it was like 2007, I think. It sounds like a really interesting movie, but apparently it just turned out not to be very good. But yeah, it was like a Jake Gyllenhaal. I want to say Nicole Kidman, but I could be wrong about that. But it was about like the CIA and stuff, and it sounded kind of cool, but apparently it was not.
Oh.
But Gavin Hood is like a good, he's a guy. He gets stuff done.
It was like such a sight came out of left field, that name for an X-Men property.
Yeah.
Because back then it was still part of Fox. All of this, right?
Yeah,
so,
this was pre getting involved with Marvel.
Yeah. So Foxmen, I was just curious that they went and got not like a Michael Bay type director, I guess.
Do you know who at one time was considered for this film?
No.
Shouldn't surprise you. Zack Snyder.
Okay, yeah,
Obviously.
okay, there you go. Right.
And then a couple friends of the podcast, if you think way back.
Oh my gosh.
Who am I talking about?
Oh God. There's so many. You tell me, break
Brian
the surprise.
Singer, friend of non-criminal friend of the pod.
Not a friend of the pod.
And Brett Ratner, other non-controversial friend of the pod, whose movie we did last time was the X-Men. We did The Last Stand. And by last time, I mean like a year ago.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah. Was that when we talked about X-Men last?
No, the last one we did was Origins, which was Brian Singer.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Origins. Origin is let me restart. Origin is an Ava DuVernay film.
Stop it.
And it's about caste systems.
Okay.
And it's about a writer, and she goes to India, and then she also goes to Germany.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's what that movie was about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different kind of origin there.
Yeah. But also Mystique is in it. But anyway, so what was I saying? Apocalypse. We did X-Men Apocalypse.
Yes.
That was our Brian Singer project.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so obviously Singer... So if I had to speculate, which I did no research on whatsoever, they probably did this like in response to the fact that like something like Iron Man was such a big deal. But then Fox was like, well, we're technically a Marvel property, but we're not Marvel, so we have to start our own thing. Who's our most popular character? Wolverine. Let's do X-Men Origins Wolverine. And then here we are with this film. That's what I think happened.
And thank God for it, because it's a good movie.
I think this movie is actually not that bad.
What is with all these terrible reviews?
I'm sorry, Hugh Jackman, you hated this movie, but I think it's not that bad.
He was so good in it. And others. And also, it just works. It's goofy. It's silly in parts. Sure, it's all part and parcel. It doesn't take itself too seriously.
It's not good, but it's also
not
like
great. Yeah.
It's not enjoyable.
It's infinitely better than fucking Apocalypse in every single way.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of the criticism of this movie is definitely warranted. The CGI does look like it's from 1996, but like
this movie came out what, 2009?
Yeah, 2009. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
CGI is terrible.
Yeah.
But like if it had been better, it would have been a better movie. This story is patently absurd. Like it just doesn't it's one of the stupidest stories ever. I think.
Why do you think? Is it because of the back and forth between him being in different provinces of Canada and not just localized in West Vancouver?
It's so crazy that because the Northwest Territories is so far from everything else. Yeah. How it he has a little kid, they just run away. Yeah. And then he's like, next thing you know, he's in the Revolutionary War. That's in like the Eastern Seaboard. Mm-hmm. It would have taken them like 6 months. But I guess if you can't die, you can just kind of like whoop, whoop,
started walking.
Yeah. But
walk till you die.
No, I think this story is dumb because like the idea of him, he gets beat up by Sabretooth. He's at my favorite location in this film is the logger bar inside like a corrugated iron shack on the logging like site. Which I'm like, well, that's really convenient that they just have a fully functional bar in this ramshackle garage.
Yeah.
When he fights Sabretooth there, his brother, played by Liev Schreiber, and Sabretooth beats him up. And can we just remember here, Wolverine can't die, really.
Yeah.
Functionally, it's very hard to kill him.
Right.
and so then he goes to Stryker, and a man who he hates, and is like, I need to kill my brother, so I completely submit to your medical experiment.
Yeah.
Like it's like, why would he do that ever?
I know, that's
all?
not fully clear. I wonder if it was like a power thing that I want to be as powerful or more than my brother Jimmy Wolverine.
His like thirst for revenge is so strong, but I just think it's such like a silly kind of nonsensical.
Yeah, could it be like abandonment issues?
I don't know. I'm like, why would he do that at all?
Yeah.
You know? Because he just also couldn't and could just avoid the whole thing.
Or what if he just wanted to be powerful and then the experiments made him aggressive? It just jacked up his testosterone.
They made him a little angry.
Yeah,
you know?
he was a little miffed,
when you take
will.
when you take 10 needles straight to the face, you're gonna be a little pissed off.
Rah!
That's that scene when they jack him up full of adamantine.
Yeah,
that's like we watched that. This is my first time seeing this movie. I was like, I think this is what like medical misinformation enthusiasts think of doctors. They're just like,
just
man,
10 needles
if you
in
go
you.
get a vaccine, they'll stab you right in the face with 10 vaccine needles.
What do you mean? That's exactly what happened to me. I came over here like, babe, what's with 7 holes in your face?
I was like, oh yeah, I'll just head down to the Italian Cultural Center in Vancouver to get my vaccine, and they stabbed me 10 needles straight to the bones. And they're like, this is how you cure COVID. Yeah. I just think it's just kind of just a goofy plot, and like the plot itself is also like ultimately kind of simplistic because it's like especially the latter half of it where he's like, all right, I'm jacked up with metal in my bones. Now I got to find my brother. And then it's like, there's like 3 moments that happen where it's just like, oh, I got to find my brother.
Yeah.
And then he meets a guy who's like, where's my brother? And the guy's like, the island. And then he's like, oh, what's the island? And then he's like, I don't know, but this other guy does. And the other guy's like, it's that island. And then he's like, I got to go to that island.
He just points that way, and
it's like,
look, it's not explicit. I'll give you that. It's not explicit in its intent. Why are they fighting? Why did they go to wars? Why?
I don't know if explicit is the word you want. I think unclear and obfuscated or like opaque.
Sure.
Like it's explicit to me denotes something that it's it's like
dumbing it down.
Like they're being kind of like, oh yeah, figure it out for yourself. I just think it's not like clear in any reasonable way.
It's confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. Just in kind of thinking back to it now that you bring it up, like why is Sabretooth even wanting to find Wolverine to kill him? It could just be over the years that he's gotten aggressive from being in these wars. There's a point of time where they show that they're in Vietnam and Jimmy's like, why are we trying to kill these innocent people?
Yeah.
And Sabretooth's like, what do you mean? This is a good gig for us.
What do you mean? I'm really enjoying myself.
I'm really like they actually show like him getting away with or trying to abuse a woman and then kill a soldier and all this other stuff. And Jimmy's like, I just want to drink. What are you doing?
One of the problems, I think, so it's interesting. We talk, like sometimes you and I are definitely guilty of this, but I find like it certainly happens in the superhero genre and it happens in like the kind of big blockbustery genre where sometimes like people will end up speculating about stuff in the plot when it's like, yeah, but ultimately none of it has been made clear.
No.
And one of the big criticisms that Roger Ebert had about this movie was just like, well, like I wanted like a psychological story about Wolverine to find out why he's like that way. And I think that's what Hugh Jackman wanted too.
Yeah.
But you end up just like not getting that.
No.
And a lot of their, as you have noticed, is like a lot of their motivations for why they do anything is like really not clear ultimately. Because because Liev Schreiber, who I just think is awful in this movie. I just not because Liev Schreiber is a great actor.
Yeah.
I just think he's like, all right, if I was casting a superhero film, Liev Schreiber would be the last person. He'd be very low on that
what
list.
What a choice.
You know? It's a very weird choice, right? But it's unclear why he's just kind of like, I'm evil. I'm mad about my nails. Like what? Like who cares? And then Logan's nails. Like thirst for revenge. Like I understand it because you get to use the convenient object of a dead hot woman, but like it doesn't ultimately really add up to me because Logan never really questions, like, it's like, man, every time I've turned to violence, it's really not worked out in my life. And then he just does it anyway, right?
Yeah.
And also, this is something Ebert also brought up, which I thought was a really good problem with lots of superhero stuff, but certainly Wolverine is like, this dude cannot die.
Mm-hmm.
So why do I care? And the movie never gives you a reason to care because all of the threats to Wolverine are like physical ones. And then you're like, yeah, he'll just live. you know?
But he's also sad and alone now because his girlfriend's
They don't
dead.
delve into that, though. That's the problem. It's like,
and they also save it to the last 3 minutes of the film where they're like, oh, your girlfriend's dead, but also we erased your memory, so now you don't even have any pain of losing a loved one.
Yeah.
So really all his pain is physical.
But also too, like the way that and yet another going back to Roger, another thing he points out is like in his review, this is a review before the film has come out, but he says in his review, he's like, it's kind of insane, but I can say this, he loses his memory at the end because that's been made clear from the other films.
Yeah.
So it's not a spoiler,
No.
but the movie treats it like a twist a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a thing you're just like, oh shit, he lost his memory. But then you're like, well, of course he lost his memory.
Yeah.
You know? Because I think in X1, he's completely like a blank slate almost until he meets Rogue.
So maybe it's like you can't kill him, but you can make him forget that you are his enemy.
Something I meant to look at was like, I wish I had time because we're doing this quite close to our last recording, but I didn't have I mean I had the time, I just didn't have the inclination. But like to rewatch X2 and figure out how Stryker and Wolverine reacted in that movie, because this movie's in the same timeline as that.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. All I know is that Brian Cox is like really angry, but we find out why he's so angry from this movie because he's like, I had to walk.
And also
3 Mile Island is 3 miles. So I had to walk all that way.
God damn it. I'm aged terribly.
And can I point out another criticism of this movie? Stryker, his motivation is like exactly the same as whatever the fucking guy in Last Stand was, basically. Like his son was a mutant.
Yeah.
And so he's upset about that.
The guy with the
Ben,
son who's
Ben
Angel?
Foster, yeah.
Right.
Like they're both, it's both like the same kind of backstory, and it's kind of like, it's kind of like, that's just is the X-Men it's always the same, like, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it might be limitations of Fox there, where they're like, we are restricted to using X script and like X plot line, and we can't bring in any new characters, so we're gonna get Will.i.am.
Shocking to see him in the credits.
I
was like, I
job.
gasped a little bit when I saw his name pop up in the credits because I was like, I mean, let's get R-worded in here. Is in this movie?
Exactly. And then, you know, there's going to be no context to you saying this.
What do you mean? Everyone knows that the song Let's Get It Started used to be called Let's Get R-worded.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, everyone our age, but yeah.
Well, we have a huge cadre of Gen Alpha listeners.
Let's get it started. Oh,
Yeah.
man. I know. Then I think that's why, and I feel like I'm excusing the writing here a little bit because of legal paperwork bullshit between Fox and Marvel and
Yeah.
X properties.
Yeah, I just think it's not very well written.
Yeah.
You know? Like I at the same time, I'm being like really hard on it right now. But at the end of the movie, I was like, I mean, that was pretty good.
We
like,
watched it was not dull.
The best part when it comes to the writing is the pace.
Yeah.
There is like never a moment
There's no dull
that
moments.
you're like, where there's never actually a scene in this movie where I was like, fucking move it along, because it always is. This is like boom, like go. You're always kind of like, they never take like a long moment to. But then that's the thing. It's like they never take a moment to do any like psychological profiling of Wolverine, and he never stops to be like,
No.
wait, why am I doing this?
They
You know?
finally do a good version for him in Logan, if you've seen.
I saw Logan in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I considered watching that because we're so Deadpool and the Wolverine is coming out a week after this episode, and next week we're going to do the Wolverine, which is a better one I've heard, but I've never seen. The Japanerine, Wolver Japanese.
It's not the better one.
It's better reviewed. Let's put it that way.
Okay,
I haven't seen it, but it's better reviewed.
And
then
this, if you thought this was nutty, that is a whole
Okay.
other gamut.
But we're not doing Logan because Logan is Academy Award
Logan
nominated.
Ooh, I
Logan's,
don't die.
Oh, I'm sorry, I never die except for this part where I die. How does he die in Logan? Spoiler.
No, we'll wait for it. I don't.
No,
wanna...
Logan. We're not going to talk about Logan. How does he ultimately die?
I think he ages out as he dies an old man Logan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It stops working. I could be fucking
Yeah,
wrong.
something. No, don't
Hold
look
on.
it up. Don't look it up. I think you're right.
Well, I
think you're
can't
right.
say the wrong thing and then leave it hanging.
I think the healing factor wears off or something.
Yeah.
Or something happens in the movie to eliminate his healing factor and then he dies. Because I remember all the kids bury him at the end.
Yeah.
And it's very sad. Everyone in the theater is crying.
Damn.
That is a good movie, though. But yeah, we're not going to do Logan because it's too good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, we'll do the Wolverine, and then hopefully everyone will enjoy Deadpool and Wolverine, which
Yeah.
I saw a different trailer for it, and it looked a lot better than the original trailers that I saw. Still not going to see it, but,
It's going to be so good. It's going to be quality popcorn time.
Can I just say one thing, though, about the trailers?
Yeah.
I would say about 60 to 70% of both trailers are taken from one sequence of filming in that film. And that's normally not a very good indicator of what the movie is going to be.
I don't know, though, because sometimes when you think a reliable, good action flick and it picks up, like, for example, Furiosa, it had different clippings.
Well, you've never seen Furiosa.
No,
so.
but in the trailer, like from your review, like the trailer was so much more exciting that it made you want to go to the cinemas.
No,
and then
the trailer was garbage, I thought, of Furiosa.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was seeing it because I have faith in George Miller because he's an amazing filmmaker. I like Deadpool 1. I think Deadpool 2 is a waste of space. So I don't know. I don't know how much I want to see this movie
fair,
at
okay.
all. Right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you'll like watch trailers and they take so much of their moments from like one sequence of action or something like that, and that's usually indicative of being like this. That means the rest of the movie might not be that good. I'm not saying I don't want to dissuade you from seeing Deadpool and Wolverine at all, but
no,
that's just sometimes the vibe that I get. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've only seen those trailers a few times, so who knows? But yeah,
it's a fun time.
I mean,
it's a fun time cinema.
It'll probably be better than this movie.
Yeah, man.
I mean, Deadpool 2 is better than this movie.
Yes.
Like, I don't like that movie, but it is better than this.
No, of course. And like, I don't have much to say about it. Yeah. I don't even remember that. I don't even remember Deadpool.
1?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's good.
I have like vague memories of Marina Baccarin and that's it.
Ryan Reynolds is also in it, though. Did you remember him?
See what I mean? You know what I mean? You know?
Oh, Reynolds.
Oh,
I thought it was Gosling.
That fictional Canadian.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, my favorite fictional Canadian. The unfortunate thing about Deadpool 1 is that noted crazy comedian JT Miller is the funniest part of it.
Oh, dude.
And he's kind of not in Hollywood anymore.
No.
But he is still like the funniest part of that film.
I think because he continued to stay himself. Like he just, I'm going to be myself.
Yeah,
and then the industry was
his self was like, people were like, we don't really like yourself.
We don't like you when you're yourself. So be someone else.
Yeah. And he was like, okay, I'll continue to be a fairly successful comedian, which I think is more his style. Yeah, like he has like the best jokes in that film, and because like the Ryan Reynolds thing is like, I think the tide is starting to turn against Reynolds a little bit. Do you think?
I think so.
Yeah,
just because
he's everywhere.
He's becoming in the same way that I think that the tide is turning against Taylor Swift as well, is because they've just become commodities. They've just become like a product of themselves.
They start to feel like they start off as this like very authentic like. I'm just like, this is who I am, and I'm this type of person. And then that you eventually are like, you're everywhere in commercials and shit. And then they start to feel commoditized and
exactly.
And it gets a little, people start to
see through it
that and,
a little bit. Yeah.
And then they're like, why are you going to take a private jet everywhere and blah, blah, blah. And why do you got to release it? Why does this album need 30 songs? Like, why?
Dude, honestly, no album needs 30 songs. And
I'm talking about Reynolds here.
Yeah. Stop singing, my guy. Like, it's no one's listening.
The tortured Deadpool department.
Tortured pools.
So anyway, Taylor Swift's new album sucks. And
sorry.
You know what? It will be... Deadpool and Wolverine will be better than Taylor Swift's new album. Let's put it that way.
You're telling me X-Men's better than the Eras Tour?
All right. Okay, I'm going to rank. I'm going to rank 1 Wolverine film, 3 Deadpool films, and 1 Taylor Swift album.
Go on.
Okay, the worst, the Wolverine. Wolverine Origins. The second worst, Deadpool 2. Then Taylor Swift's Tortured Poets Department.
Yeah. That's
Deadpool
fair.
and Wolverine and Deadpool.
That's
there.
good.
That's my definitive ranking of those 3 disparate things that aren't very much related to each other.
That's reasonable.
This movie is written by David Benioff.
Game of Thrones.
Now, when you hear this, we will have already done Troy as part of our David Benioff series of films where we've decided to tackle the work of a writer who is one half of a much maligned duo who made one of the most successful television programs of all time and then fell from grace in everyone's eyes and is now considered a bad writer, even though he pretty much entertained you for 8 straight years with one of the best television shows ever.
I mean, that's the nature of television.
Yeah.
Like you upset your audience for 5 minutes and then they hope you die to death, which is not great because the first 5 seasons of Game of Thrones is quite possibly the best cinematic experience on television.
Yeah. Can I say, okay, so something you notice in the fallout of Game of Thrones, and I'm not standing up for those seasons. They're not good, the last 2. When Game of Thrones was pumping, was just jizzing all over the place.
Christ.
As Jen Alpha loves to
not
say.
the J word.
Was just jaying all over the scene.
Yeah.
Every episode just banging.
Yeah.
No one was like, it's because of D&D.
No.
And when they failed, everyone was like,
it's because of
D&D are the worst writers of all time.
Yeah.
And that's just like, nah, you're just wrong.
No.
This is wrong.
Well, I think that they, for the most part, had the books to rely on as far as the TV went. And then after a point, when GRM was like, all right, guys, here's what I'm thinking for the ending. Then they had total freedom to write the script the way they wanted. And so a little bit of guilt, a little bit of blame is to be placed on the D&Ds for
absolutely,
for butchering the vision that the first 5 started. Well, but again,
they should take part of the blame certainly, but also,
but not bad writers by any means. I mean, they're fucking phenomenal.
No, and they've just put out that Netflix show. And can I say too, with the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones, I'm pretty sure they were developing a whole another show and in talks to do a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
So they were just yes, it's their fault for, I guess, dividing their attention if that's truly what happened. Mm-hmm. And those episodes are not very good. But the revisionism of them being they're just shitty is just not true.
No.
Because David Benioff has been successful for a long time. As much as he has written not very good movies like X-Men Origins and okay movies, and I say okay, like Troy. I think Troy is an okay film.
Yeah.
Certainly not because of the writing. Yeah. He also wrote 25th Hour. And 25th Hour is a fucking awesome movie.
Oh.
So and he was I
didn't know that.
He was a novelist. I read one of his novels. It was pretty good. He's a very talented writer.
Yeah.
This movie was rewritten 3 times after Benioff. So there's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
But it's the revisionist history about D&D when it comes to Game of Thrones is so silly. But it's almost like people who are hardcore fans to an unhealthy degree are mentally ill. I'm sorry. Mentally unstable.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. But then again, they come back and they make 3 Body Problem, which everyone was like, that was pretty good. And it's it is pretty good.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty good at this kind of thing. Anyway.
And it was also interesting to see his name tied to an X-Men property.
But I think he's written in a lot of genres, though.
Has he done a lot of more Marvels and more?
Oh God, he did. Okay, I'm besides 25th Hour and Troy, he's done one other kind of bigger film. Let me see.
No, just co-wrote X-Men Origins.
Well, because what happens right after that? Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
20,
and then he's busy for 10 years.
Around 2010 is probably when they start developing Game of Thrones as a property, right? Oh, he wrote The Kite Runner, which I've never seen as a film, but I've read the book. Oh my God, he wrote Gemini Man.
the double Man, Will Smiths?
Yeah, Gemini Man is good. I like that movie.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah. It's the X-Men Origins Wolverine of Will Smith.
It's the poor man's Jason Bourne, I guess.
X-Men Origins Will Smith is that film. Boy, okay. So yeah. So
Oh, look, like here's some relief for Benioff as I come to his aid. Fox later hired Skip Woods to revise and rewrite Benioff's script, like you said, like it went through three hands. But Benioff had aimed for a darker and a bit more brutal story.
A rated R film. Yeah.
Which is, you kind of go in expecting more brutality given Wolverine's nature. And also Sabretooth is such a violent character.
Yeah.
And there's lots of deaths, so it's nice.
Something I always admired about X2, even though it's like a PG film, is like the sections with Wolverine are quite violent. And with good reason, because he's a violent character. Like, that's his characterization, right?
Yeah.
But it seemed like when Logan came out and it was like, oh, that's going to be rated R, it seemed like Mangold and Queen's Gambit guy who wrote it just seemed like it was like such a struggle. But also, like, for the superhero genre, they were all like the studios who had never let them do it in the first place, who finally allowed them to do it, like hopped on the hype of it being like, yeah, it's gonna be like rated R and like harsh and like stuff and dark. Like Deadpool is like rated R but funny and kind of like a gross comic film, right? But like super hyper violent. Whereas like Logan is like gritty, violent kind of thing.
Correct.
And it's kind of like, it's like what we talked about with Bullet Train and like blockbusters, where it's this like bloodless violence that's like constant. Like X2 is like that, when there's like a particular sequence where Wolverine like stabs a guy through the face with his claws, but it's like no blood can be seen ever.
Oh, I see. But, yeah. Even when he retracts the claws, there's no blood on
exactly, right? And
interesting.
And then like, but like when you think of a spin-off, you're kind of like, yeah, they should be darker than this,
yes.
you know?
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, I'm not saying they have to be like hyper violent, but they could handle more.
Yeah.
Especially considering like Wolverine gets like shot in the face like 3 times and you have to see a bullet hole like heal.
Come on.
And shit.
Yeah. Even then, no blood, dude.
Yeah, even it's like the minimal amount. Because like even in X2, he gets shot directly in the forehead. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's just kind of trickles off.
Yeah.
Right. I remember, and then the bullet pops out, and he's like, "Oh, ow."
Yeah.
Tease but a scratch.
But a scratch.
Shit. There's a lot of cool references though in this movie that even later when we were like, "Yo, is Wolverine's girlfriend, whose name is Kayla Silverfox? She's like talking about her sister Emma, who is made of stone or carbon or diamond. Babe. Yeah, it was a cute little.
And then, but
little nod.
She's referencing the January Jones character in First Class,
yeah,
who I've completely forgotten about because I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Totally, and I wouldn't have clocked it if she wasn't just like Emma.
It was weird that they didn't use the character though.
No,
like they just like reference her.
She does turn to.
No, I know, but they never explicitly say, even in the credits, they don't explicitly like, or the Wikipedia, it's like, she's not explicitly fucking Diamond Jones or whatever the fuck. Yeah.
Emma Frost.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
I wonder, I think it's just kind of implied that Kayla has a sister named Emma who turns to Diamond.
Yeah, it never says her name or anything, I don't think.
Yeah. I think she only becomes a baddie when she joins Magneto's team later in the First Class films. But yeah. I'm really curious. I'm like more interested in rewatching Deadpool now that I've seen these movies, because like I had always known that Reynolds, it's clearly such inspired casting to cast Reynolds in this movie. Oh yeah. That's been like 10 years in the making just to get him to
but then like 6 years later, get him to be the exact right, as much as we maligned him earlier, to be like the exact right tonal person for Deadpool. Because he is, the movies that he does, he is like a snarky little, oh, look at me, he's a little scamp, you know.
I'm just a little Rocco from Kitsilano.
He's a little goofy scamp.
That's just who I am.
Yeah.
And so
just drink my vodka and gin or whatever.
It's perfect actually. And
it is perfect casting.
It makes sense for like the audience to rally for him to become Deadpool. Yeah.
Because for a long time, certainly before this movie, there is this like long period of Ryan Reynolds. They're like, let's make him Ryan Gosling. Let's make him a serious actor.
Oh yeah.
And he's not. Like he
tried one film.
I don't think he can't do that.
Yeah.
But and I would love to see him do it now, because like he could probably do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
But there was like a period there where after the classic film Van Wilder, he decided somehow to like do serious things.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't clicking really.
No, and I think there's already a person like that in the industry, kind of similar. I think John Krasinski took that place as a serious, as a quote unquote serious actor.
He's better at being serious, definitely.
Because he has never been too goofy, even in The Office.
He's a
like,
straight man in The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he won't do the wackadoodle stuff that Ryan Reynolds does.
No.
So I think it's like nicely nestled. I don't know. They're too similar in their look and feel to be like two sides of the same coin.
Just like kind of hot white guys.
Kind of like just, like a face that's not intimidating. They're just harmless looking dudes.
I do truly think like the biggest comp is Gosling, because their timelines of their careers is just so lined up, right? But Gosling is funny, as we've seen in Barbie,
totally,
and certainly in The Fall Guy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But Gosling also, whatever you think of him in serious roles, he's also like gives 110%.
Absolutely.
And in 2006, Gosling gets nominated for an Academy Award for a very serious film, right? And then like it just kind of goes from there, and then he keeps doing these roles. He gets with Refn, and he does these roles where he's like, I don't want to talk, I just want to kick people's heads open.
Yeah.
And Refn is like, yes, you do that. That's my favorite type of thing.
I love it when you drive everywhere.
And then like eventually Gosling, after he takes a break to spend time with his beautiful wife, and I'm sure his lovely children, and comes out with Barbie, and everyone remembers it. It's like, yeah, Gosling is so fucking funny too.
Yeah.
Even like The Big Short was like, oh yeah, Gosling can do it. And then you see Barbie, and you're like, he can do like full comedy.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is the triple threat.
Yeah, but he was like, I think, scooping a lot of those very serious type roles for a person of his position in Hollywood.
He's like Brad Pitt that way.
Kinda.
Brad Pitt is like, he just does everything, and he does everything exceptionally well.
He's like Brad Pitt he's like the 15-year younger Brad Pitt. So a
he's
different kind of generation.
He's a baby Pitt.
And that's why I think it was smart of Reynolds to just kind of be like, I'm going to be goofy, Yeah. Even in Mississippi Grind, which was a good movie, he is like, he's kind of the silly guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. And then a lot of people still were like, why the fuck is Deadpool in this movie? In X-Men Origins Wolverine.
I mostly was like, those fist katanas, incredibly impractical as weapons.
What you mean? He's so good at
but okay. But if you have to like stab someone, you got to be like 5 feet from the minimum to get the
throw it at him.
It's attached to his wrist, babe. It's in his bone.
Oh.
And then when he retracts it, how does he stay?
I see. When he becomes
how does
the
he
pool.
stay flexible? How does he stay?
It'll just keep growing. You're right.
It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah. It's made of vibranium. It'll never break.
It's made of adamantium. God damn it.
They all had to go to Wakanda to get it.
They all had to get like fucking 10 needles directly to the face. When they get their adamantine shot and their COVID vaccine all at once.
No.
You can get your Johnson & Johnson fucking Covishield.
How do you think I got ripped? Okay, I'm jacked because of my J&J.
Why is my arm so strong? It's because it's got adamantine all up in it.
Hell yeah.
This movie is...
I find it impossible to talk about this film without talking about like 10 other things.
Okay.
Because it is like a web
because it's good in reference to other stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's actually, even the end, the post-credit scene of this with Deadpool.
Yes.
It's still like, it actually sets up Deadpool very well. Because like Ryan Reynolds isn't quite there yet. Yeah. But he's just there. You're like, oh yeah, he's not serious in this movie.
Yeah.
He's got to be serious when he can't speak and shit. Which, okay, so when they reveal Deadpool.
Yes.
And he has his mouth shut.
Yes.
Is that meant to be a joke?
Yeah. Remember every other scene of interaction with him in the entirety of the film? Don't you ever shut up, pal?
Yeah, I know.
Where it's every time it's like, so, and then they also call back to like, if he just shuts the fuck up, he will be the perfect soldier.
Yeah, that's what Stryker says.
And so they quite literally do it. Yeah. They give him all these powers. He's supposed to be like, whatever, like Agent Zero or what fucking
Yeah,
number
he has
one
all
soldier.
sorts of powers, yeah.
And then the best way is to shut him up because then
Yeah.
you
But
can
like
just have
it's
him be a
it's a
robot.
moment that's supposed to be a little scary, but it's also funny that they're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, they didn't give him a mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, they sealed it shut.
One person we haven't talked about yet is Danny Houston. Danny Houston is an incredible actor. And he's incredible because he plays the same person in every movie.
In everything.
And I love it.
Dude.
I love him. He's fantastic.
He's good at this.
He's just like bureaucratic man.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, we need like a bureaucrat who's also kind of skeevy.
Yeah.
I have Danny Houston on speed
got it.
dial. Ben Foster is like the meth psycho, and then Danny Houston is right next door with the bureaucrat, the semi-evil bureaucrat.
I got a gray suit. What do you want? I got 6 types of gray suits.
What suit should I bring? It's not a good Danny Houston.
Ooh.
He's got a very specific kind of voice, but you could definitely do an impression of him, you know?
Yeah, dude. I hear it in my head.
I know. He's such a distinctive actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Should we talk about the plot of this movie?
And the only reason I sigh is because it's like, where to even begin?
I'll talk. I got it. Don't worry.
Oh.
Got it under control. So in 1845 in the Northwest Territories, we encounter a young Jimmy. He's also
A Jimmy Wolverine.
With his half-brother, who he doesn't know is his half-brother, but he finds out in this sequence when his father comes to the house and kills his quote-unquote father, who's his fake father, and that the stress of it activates his bone hands, and he kills the other guy, who's his real father.
Yeah.
And then he runs off in the night with Sabretooth, and then they run from the Northwest Territories all the way down to presumably like New York or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, hey, there's a war happening. Let's get it.
All of them. They're in the American Civil War.
Now, this I read was from a comic.
Yeah.
This title sequence, which is
it's beautifully done. I really like it.
It's shot in the rock and roller shit toilet.
Yeah.
But it's really well done and really interesting. But it also, to me, begs the question that it's just like, where are these? Also, does no one notice? Like
what?
Well, like that they're alive still.
No, it's 2 figures in millions.
I know, but like there's pictures and shit.
Nah.
But anyway, like
everybody looks the same with a beard and blood covered.
But also, okay, here's the thing. If you're so fucking good at war and that's all you want to do, you go from like the Revolutionary War to the Civil War, to World War
One and two,
and 2, Vietnam.
Yes.
No one mentions Korea.
No.
But what are you doing in between? There's so many other wars.
Well, look. War never changes. Okay. What they live their life as like mercenaries in between the wars.
Yeah.
So it's not like they wait around to do other normal things and then go to war.
I mean,
they're just in a state of
cook and stuff.
They're in a state of fight or flight
but I mean,
at all times.
Okay, but the Civil War to World War I is like a solid 70 years.
Yeah.
So,
they went to Canada probably.
Well, there's plenty of other wars they could
went
take
back.
Because like you could get. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not a soldier. I'm not one to give advice. You could go straight from World War I right into the Russian Revolutionary War. You know.
Yeah.
And just like keep it rolling, keep the fun times rolling.
Yeah.
Get a bunch of ruples from your Russian comrades. Help communism succeed.
Maybe Liev Schreiber's character was a dick between it. Maybe he was terrorizing a small village in his own ways. Can
I say the other problem with this opening sequence? You're watching what would have been a better movie happen in like 3 minutes. And you're like, man, it would be a cool movie if they did that.
Yeah.
You know? That would be way cooler. Because then you're about to see this piece of shit. And then you think back fondly because you're like, wow, the only well-made part of this is the coolest part and it could have been way cooler. Anyway, then they get in with these mercs with Stryker, Danny Houston, Wade Wilson. Wade Wilson? Is that his name? Deadpool.
Yeah. Yeah, Wade. Yeah. Yeah.
Wade Wilson, though?
Yes, Wade Wilson. Yes, Wade Wilson. Yeah. Correct. Oh, God. I had a full brain melt. I was like, Wade Wilson.
It's Wade Wilson.
Yes, is it Wade?
It's Wade.
I got it.
Wade Williams?
Shut your mouth.
Wilson.
That's Will I Am.
Wade Will I Am?
Wilson? All right.
Wait, I am.
Okay.
And then Will.i.am and another fellow played 080 or whatever, the Matrix guy.
Okay.
And then Duke, who turns into the Blob.
Yeah.
They are mercenaries. They go to Nigeria. They find a rock, and Stryker's like, "Oh, this rock is awesome." And then Sabretooth is like, "I love being a mercenary and killing people for fun.
I love to kill."
And Logan is like, "Not me," and then he leaves.
Well, that's why later when they're like introduce Logan's girlfriend, she always assures him like, "You're not an animal. I'm like your brother,"
Yeah.
which is like kind of
Kinda
always
racist.
How is it racist?
Well, they're a race of like he's a
That's true.
whatever
Specious.
speciesist. Yeah. So he walks from Nigeria back to the Rocky Mountains in Canada.
Yes.
Like, I don't know how he got on a flight.
Babe,
But,
he's not Manverine. He's a Wolverine.
Yeah,
He's
true.
meant to do this.
so he's back in it's funny, they have to do it's so weird, the filming, because like it's actually filmed in like some beautiful locations, but I do feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, they had to do a lot of like fake mountains because a lot of the outdoor stuff is actually filmed in Australia. And then there's actually a lot of stuff that's filmed in Vancouver.
Okay.
Like in Canada.
Yeah.
But they had to do a bunch of the Canada outside stuff in Australia.
Yeah.
So like the scene where Kayla dies, where he finds her in that like forest, I was kind of like, that kind of forest like just doesn't exist in Canada.
I thought that was fully green screen or something.
No, I think that's like out Australia.
Oh,
like,
interesting.
hardcore. He's a logger. He's like a commercial logger, but it's always questionable when he brings his own axe, because apparently the logging company can't. They're like, you got to bring your own, or else we can't log.
How do you think he built his house?
Yeah,
they gave him the tools.
And so then Sabretooth.
Yeah,
he ends up going to kill old Meriadoc Brandybuck from Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Mary.
Yeah, who was part of the gang.
Yeah.
And when Stryker comes to see Wolverine and is like, someone is killing this group and we got to protect each other, he gives him like a newspaper that says like "circus freak slain."
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even clock it.
It's like, man, that's a hell of an obituary for this
Oh,
young man who was murdered.
Oh, that's right, because he's literally in a circus.
He's like in a circus at the time.
Okay.
Mary, yeah.
And
God.
he looks like a normal boy. Like he's not
he's
even.
He's an he can.
His power is generating electricity.
His power is touching stuff.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then I forgot to mention that Duke, the guy who becomes the Blob, his power is having a hard fist. So he does a lot of touching too.
Hard fist touch stuff.
Hard fist touch.
Sex man.
But Logan's like, I'm not an animal. My girlfriend says so. Go away.
Yeah.
And then at the logging camp, Kayla eventually gets murdered by Sabretooth.
Mm-hmm.
They get in a fight, Sabretooth and Wolverine. Sabretooth beats him by just trucking him with a giant log, which is a good way to. And then, if he wants to, like, he should just leave him on, like, the log. He'd leave him under the log. That's a good way to get rid of him. He can't lift that thing.
But the ensuing fight, it goes on to such an extent that Sabretooth ends up physically stepping on Wolverine's claws and breaking them.
The bone claws. Yeah.
The bone claws has been broken.
So Wolverine, in the silly plot point we said earlier, goes back to Stryker and says, "Pump me full of metal."
Yeah.
Or help me beat him. He doesn't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, he killed my girlfriend, and now I just want revenge.
I want revenge. And then Stryker's like, get in this warm tank. And Wolverine's like, what's going to happen? He's like, not much.
Just close your eyes.
Not much. Just relax.
Yeah.
And just,
not much.
just chill. We're just going to give you a little vaccine.
It'll be a little prick. You won't even feel
We're going to do what normal doctors do, especially if you're a medical misinformation spreader. This is like normally when I go to a doctor, this is what they do to me.
Yeah.
So they stab him with 1 billion needles in the face.
Mm-hmm.
He gets jacked up full of adamantine.
Yeah.
And they're about to erase his memory so he can become part of his like Weapon X program, like
Hell
the ultimate weapon.
Ugh.
But then Wolverine hears them with his super hearing that somehow the metal helped him hear better.
Well, look.
He could already hear pretty good.
He's got super bones.
Yeah.
All right. And now for super bones are now surrounded by super muscles. Super muscles that extend to your ear.
Well, the adamantine is on the bone, though.
First of all,
that's how Wolverine hits on women.
I'll
in
tell
bars
you how
these days.
adamantium works. Okay, adamantium.
It fuses to the bone, girl.
Yeah, all right. You can't have
Anyway.
like little weak muscles around it though, so I think it affects it. It just jacks you up no matter what.
Yeah, and look, I'm sure the science is really accurate.
Yeah.
So he runs off naked into the depths of Australia, which is a normal Hugh Jackman thing to do.
Yeah, he's just always
there's this
bolting it.
helicopter chase, which I actually think is quite a good scene.
Yeah.
And Hugh Jackman he's like, I mean, I can't die. You can shoot me as much as you want. I can't die.
Yeah.
And then that one dude is like, Wolverine's immune to bullets, except for like this one.
Except for this
bullet. This certain type of bullet. There's only 6 in the world. If you use this bullet on him, he'll probably die.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is handy.
Yeah.
So Wolverine finds Duke and Wraith to figure out where Sabretooth is. In the meantime, Sabretooth kidnaps a young Cyclops from Lord Byng High School in Kitsilano.
Baby Cyclops.
Baby Cyclops. Yet another appearance by a young Cyclops in this fucking movie.
Yet another appearance where Cyclops is like, I have powerful eyes. What should I do? Look through them, you fucking...
There's another point where it's like, take your glasses
Take your
off,
fucking
for the love of
glasses
God.
off. But
this
like,
could solve all of your problems. Yeah.
It's just the single most annoying X-Man of all time is Scott. And I think it's even more frustrating because they give him such highest status to be like, oh yeah, he's one of the very important X-Men.
Yeah. Most of the time he's like sulking.
He's just a little bitch boy. God.
My biggest problem with him, I said this in the fucking Apocalypse one, is like he misses with his eyes.
How are you missing
and
with
it's
your
like,
eyes?
just look at what you want to shoot at. It's not throwing a baseball.
It's just move your head to look at the cat.
Also, it's not like they're like pew pew pew. They're just a steady beam. So
Yeah.
whatever you're looking at
We'll
get
it.
yeeted. Like it's so absurd. But when almost inevitably when he takes off his glasses, it's like, where are you looking?
Yo.
He like shoots the ground and like it's crazy, man.
I wonder, oh my gosh, I think I've been grossly unjust. I wonder if it's a bit like having an AK or like a super machine gun.
Like there's like kickback?
The kickback maybe knocks him off balance because he doesn't have enough training to focus
Excuse me.
at an object.
When he's in his X suit, he has a button that opens up the thing.
Right. But he's older, right? So
he could get in like a forward stance,
Yeah.
1 foot forward,
Yeah.
kind of like braced for impact, as he would when shooting a gun. Not
Right.
that I fucking know anything
Yeah.
about that. But then it's like, when you go, as an athlete, when you go to kick a soccer ball or throw a baseball, it's like you get in a certain stance.
Correct.
You control your body.
I do that.
And then you press the button and you're ready for the impact. Maybe it'll do a little, but really
Yeah.
you should just be looking.
He could be standing far away and doing it. Don't be in the fight, my guy. Be on the roof, look down, blast him.
He could be a sniper, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's always like right in the middle of it.
He's always like, Jane, I want a hug. Goodbye. I'm over it. Sorry, got animated.
Another Cyclops. Bitch.
So Wolverine.
so yeah, Cyclops is kidnapped. They take him to the island, which Wolverine finds out. He's like,
The
what's
island.
this island we're talking about? Duke tells him that Gambit knows. Gambit, played by Taylor Kitsch.
Yeah.
Taylor Kitsch, who can sometimes be a very bad actor. I was very worried about. I don't think he's very good in this, but he's better than I thought he would be.
He's good enough.
He's fine.
He's a good enough Gambit.
Gambit's like a cool character that they kind
Yeah.
of waste.
I wonder if we'll ever in our lifetime get a Channing Tatum Gambit, but it looks like not anymore. Because there was talks about a young Tatum Gambit.
Well, yeah, maybe. But no, not in this case.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the only person who had escaped from the island, which is funny because like the island, they're doing like a pool of powers, and they probably were like, oh yeah, we want the guy who throws playing cards for our super soldier.
Ooh, I'm scared.
It's like, we want the playing card guy when we have a dude who shoots mega lasers from his fucking eyes.
Guys.
Oh no, the playing card guy
no,
escaped.
how did he get away?
Oh no. Oh, the guy with the stick and the playing cards. Uh-oh.
Not the 3 of clubs. Shoot. Yeah, fucking Gambit,
I
bro.
would let him go too. He's kind of fucking lame.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's also a pilot, and he flies Wolverine.
That's
to,
the real power. That's it. That's the one.
Is that he's a short
Oh, yeah.
haul pilot. And he flies Wolverine to 3 Mile Island, which is like the perfect place to have experiments because it's in Pennsylvania. And Wolverine finds he just like walks in and he's like, what is going on here?
Hey, guys. Yeah.
And Stryker's like, oh, hey, you made it.
Oh, man.
Your girlfriend's still alive. She faked her death by touching you because that's her power, which is actually a cool power.
Yeah.
She can manipulate people into stuff.
Being submissive.
Yeah.
To her will.
Yeah, it comes up later.
Yeah.
And then one of the weaker parts, and maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention, but like Kayla's like, sorry, but also I still love you. Could you help me?
Okay. The whole thing with that is that Stryker's obviously held Kayla's sister hostage.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So, and they were going to kill, and she's a child. Her sister's a young child.
Yeah.
And so for her, she tries to convince Wolverine that no, our love was real, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But for 6 years? She had to do this for 6 years.
I mean, I guess I'm the asshole. I should have just paid attention.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, well, at one point when,
the fact that she couldn't tell him that for 6 years, like
because it's bugged, right? I'm guessing like her,
like what? Her
like Stryker's
body,
watching.
But like how? He had trouble finding Wolverine in the first place. It's like,
no, I don't think Stryker had any trouble.
Hold on though. If it was bugged and he knew what Kayla was doing,
I'm guessing it's bugged.
Hold on, and let me say why you're wrong. If he knew where Wolverine was, he wanted Wolverine all along to be Weapon X. Why would he just wait around?
I thought Stryker told Sabretooth to go to Wolverine and gave him his address.
I don't know. Dirt fuckhead road up in Banff.
Yeah. I thought Stryker sent Wolverine, like Sabretooth over to him.
Who
be
cares?
Like, hey,
Doesn't matter.
Go pretend kill his girlfriend so that he gets pretend angry and then he agrees to volunteer.
But Stryker found him first. Stryker found him and said, hey, someone's killing people. Maybe you should watch out.
Oh, yeah.
And
so
then
he did
Sabretooth. Yeah, Stryker had to find him somehow.
True, though, because it was bugged. And full circle. So the whole time.
Wow, I didn't know I had David Benioff on the pod. Master television and film writer David Benioff.
Doing it. Game of Thrones, call
me.
Anyway,
they... Babe, I mean... I don't want to toot your own horn, but you can write a birth scene like no other.
Thank you. I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
Up top.
You're like, yeah, and then the baby comes out.
Make sure the baby slips right out.
Make sure the baby's up the puss, and then it comes out the puss. Okay? I know birth.
I don't.
If I know birth, that's how it happens.
I would not restrict it to just that passage of entry or exit. Ooh.
No, because you would be you would be like,
open your mouth.
They're like, Pri, can you write this birth scene? And you'd be like, definitely. Have you guys seen Frankenstein? So
I knew you were going to say
there's
that.
this scene where they're all real slippery.
And then he shoots it and he catches him. And then they're just like, woo!
Woo!
Skating rink full of
Robert
amniotic
Bobby
fluid.
D is my baby. I apologize for everything we just said.
The most chaotic episode so far.
Anyway, the end, they help all the pool of mutants escape.
Yeah.
And then they unveil Weapon 11, which is Wade Williams?
Wade Will.i.am?
Wade Wilson? Wade Wilson, who is the Deadpool. He's got stupid weapon arms. They fight. Sabretooth and Logan finally join up and fight.
Yes.
And separate his head from his body, which is what you want to do in the case of these people with the healing factor.
Yeah.
Just pro tip for everyone out there. Separate the head from the body and then yeet the head into a fucking nuclear reactor. And
it still doesn't die.
No. It's Cyclops finally looks around and shoots. Actually, no, Wade Will.i.am with his powers shoots the whole thing, blows up, and blah, blah, blah. Logan escapes with Kayla.
That's right.
Sabretooth goes his own separate way. Mm-hmm. They're about to escape, and then boom, shot in the head with an adamantine bullet. A couple times.
Yeah.
Body in the head. Stryker's about to do in Kayla, and Kayla grabs his foot and is like, go away. And he does. He walks off.
She mind controls him to keep walking until his feet bleed.
Yeah. Cool little moment how she saves him. And then she's dead. And then Stryker walks away. Logan wakes up. He's like, my head really hurts. That was really painful. The gun didn't kill him, unlike on how the guy promised.
No.
Yeah.
It just like it was like a little Etch-a-Sketch Wolverine.
It erased his memory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he was like, who, like, completely, he's like, who am I? Who's this dead woman? What is happening?
Yeah.
Then
imagine waking up and just like wreckage and be like, oh man, I'm Hugh Jackman.
Do you?
Oh, look how jacked I am.
I want to host the Oscars.
Oh wait, I'm Australian? Holy shit.
Oh, I'm Australian?
Oh,
yeah, mate.
Oh no.
Oh no. That's the worst one I wanted to be.
No, it's not the worst one. No, don't you
I
dare.
know, New Zealand. God, you always say
God.
it.
Oh,
the worst of the old colonies.
I think it would be fucking hilarious if like he woke up and had just like a memory swiped and then he had an Indian accent.
What if
It'd be fucking sick.
You know that thing where people have a head injury and the foreign accent
language
syndrome?
Yeah.
What if he got that but he just had an American accent?
He just oh my god, what the fuck is this shit?
Oh fuck, what are these claws?
What if he's Italian? Italian Wolverine be fucking
La
amazing.
mia claws. Who is this woman? You know.
Bella.
And then that sets us up for the next movie. I mean, it kind of sets us up for X1, and then they decided to make another movie.
Hey, there's a cool little thing where Professor X shows up kind of de-aged looking for a moment.
I wouldn't call that part cool. I would call it pretty fucking lame.
It's pretty scary, actually. He comes out of the shadows, and it's like, why is he soft focus?
Like, why? Well, because he's like CGI'd completely. Why couldn't Patrick Stewart, why didn't he just make a cameo? Like, what was he doing?
They didn't pay him. Fox got no money for Patrick Stewart. They can afford him for 3 seconds. But it was cool because all the escaped children mutants now got to be under the safety of Professor X. That was a nice little, like, here's what you can expect in the next films.
I think it more sets up First Class a little bit, right? But also, like, the First Class timeline is, like, out of sync with whatever. As we said in the Apocalypse thing, it's like,
it's all
none
out
of
whack.
that makes sense. Because in Apocalypse, there's a scene where he's Weapon X in a lab and he escapes there.
That's right.
That's a different timeline.
Because then they wipe the memory, keep experimenting. Wipe the memory, keep experimenting.
No,
take his DNA.
Apocalypse is in a different timeline.
Oh.
Because of Days of Future Past.
Right.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. That's why.
It doesn't.
God damn it.
Yeah. I gotta go back and watch the whole damn thing again. Frick.
Yeah.
Okay.
This movie. Sorry about our talent. It's bad. Pretty low.
What do you mean our? Speak for yourself, sir.
Babe, you killed it.
I killed it.
Yeah.
I did a stellar job. I am Gavin Hood.
You are Gavin Hood.
I am the trifecta of the D&D and P.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for listening. That's the Wolverine, X-Men Origins of Wolverine.
Yo, go check out Deadpool and Wolverine when it comes out.
No, rewatch this movie with a kind eye.
Honestly.
It's all right.
Yes.
You know what? If you watched, and I don't know about the next movie because I'm going to watch it. If you watch this, Wolverine and Logan, all as a trilogy, I think you'd be all right.
You have a good time.
I think you'd be like, yeah, that's fine. That'll do.
Because we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And that's why we have it over here.
Everyone just be nice to yourselves and David Benioff.
And Australians.
And Australians. They've had a hard time. They're the worst colony.
Second.
This is why do you think they all come here and go to Whistler and they're like, oh, it's real cold out here. you know, in Australia, we don't have cold. And we don't have Starbucks either.
It's true.
Yeah.
They got Christmas in the summertime, man. My heart goes out.
It is depressing.
My heart goes out.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.